Hey everybody, welcome back in another episode of Dev Talk. And in today's episode, Jeremy, I want to dive with you into another faction, one that I feel has been neglected a little bit because it was the last one to be created when we had the original game launched on Kickstarter, and that's going to be the Raccoons, right? And I recently started playing with them, and I really love them, but I wasn't also really keen on what they were doing since we haven't been demoing with them a lot. So I thought it would be really interesting to dive with you today on the Raccoons. So as usual, I would like to know from you, what was the idea behind it in creating them?
Right, so the Raccoon faction is what we internally call like a support faction.
Yep.
Which means that they're very good at supporting other animal factions and amplifying their potential of these other animals.
Right.
And this is done in several ways. For example, the Raccoons are very good at doubling fury or adding more fury.
Right. So like the faction leader, right? Had Tinker Noctis here in
exactly
the screen.
Yeah. So and doubling the amount of fury is it can be quite a big thing.
Yeah. Right, so for everybody watching, Fury is that you can buff your animals, right? So it's basically giving them additional stats for attack damage.
Exactly.
+1.
Exactly. And they're also pretty good at protecting your animals because they can grant a temporary invulnerability.
Like some sort of shield.
Basically.
Yeah.
So that allows you to use your animals to, for example, clear an enemy animal while not losing your own animal. So
right, like
that can be super useful.
Like this Dark Mask Aeronaut, he has the arrive ability, so when he comes into play, he can shield another animal, or maybe even itself.
Also itself, yeah, but also another animal, so it's really flexible like that.
Yeah, cool. And we also see a lot of, their items have a lot to do with the schematics and themes, so they're also a little bit of a thematically like a tinkerer faction. Can you also explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so they're like steampunk inventors.
Nice.
Who dream up all these weird contraptions for themselves and for their allies. So that's why they have two different items that'll help you buff your own people.
Right. So having this steampunk gauntlet will increase the attack and also the support pile. Also, again, a shield, right, so that they cannot take any damage.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the interesting mechanics, like you said, is that they can amplify other animals, especially with fury. And the first thing that came into my mind is actually the rhinos, right, because they also have this self-inflicting pain to gain additional fury, and also a lot of mitigating and controlling fury, right, by like Mogara shuffles the damage tokens around, the fury tokens.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be really cool to see Hat Tinker and Noctis, the leader faction of the faction in action, right?
Sure.
So also for people watching that, how can you best play the Raccoons?
Mm-hmm.
I think this would be a very good combination if you combine them together with Rhinos, as we see here. Right, so in a previous turn we've played this Rhino card, this is the Berserker, and on arrival when it comes into play it can deal 2 damage to itself and gain 2 fury. So instead of 1 damage and 3 health, it gets 2 damage tokens and 2 fury tokens, becoming a 3 attack, 1 health. So like a glass cannon, right? So a lot of strength, but he's also very, you can lose him right away.
Yeah, for sure. And at the moment he's being protected by this other raccoon who has guard, and the last words are actually give another animal 2 fury, so that sort of plays into the whole fury generation theme as well. But now, for example, we could play the Head Tinkerer and double the amount of fury on our Rhino friend over here, which means that it would have 5 attack.
Yeah.
Which is pretty hefty amount, but then we could also use the Stronghold ability to pay 3 more support and give it +2 attack until the end of turn, which means it has 7 attack, which means it can one-shot an enemy Stronghold. So that's a pretty nice turn.
Yeah, and also the secondary ability of Head Thinker is also interesting, right? So in another potential play situation, I could also still use the no, not the schematics, but the lightning rod.
Yeah.
Right. So I would also play this one and give them also 2 fury.
Yeah.
Right. So each animal 1 fury.
Which means that the Head Tinkerer also activates. So you would deal another 2 damage to a stronghold as well. So
Right.
you would deal 9 damage to a stronghold in 1 turn.
Right, and I think that offers a lot of versatility to this particular faction, right? I mean, you want to keep Noctis in there as long as possible. The arrivability is really nice by, just boosting everything that's on the table.
Yeah.
But also, if you can keep her alive, it means you can just keep on shotting on Stronghold or gaining the upper hand in your board control by just shooting the damage to Strongholds.
Yeah.
And keep the pressure up. I really like that. So
Yeah.
it's really,
I mean, she has a big target on her head because of that, right? But
Yeah.
you have ways to protect her also with the guard animal found in the
right.
in the Raccoon faction.
Right, and that's also why I think it would, pair well with the rhinos, right? So in the next turn, I could play this Rockhide Defender, and again, also if this comes into play with the Arrive ability, animals with Fury on it will deal damage to strongholds or animals, so that's also more, the pinging ability, as we call it, right? Doing 1 damage to certain things, and you can clear things, and also the war drums of the rhino, right?
Yeah,
Putting
the
Fury on everything, and then
And
having Tinkerer there in play is really cool.
Yeah, and the Rhino Stronghold also generates Fury as well, so that also plays together nicely. But also other factions like the Rats, they have some nice Fury generation.
Yeah.
So that's it's
Right.
it's a pretty versatile faction.
That will be a killer combination, right? Rats, rhinos, and the raccoons.
That could be
The triple R threat.
that could be pretty powerful potentially, yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, Jeremy, thank you for the details and showing us. I think we have, showed another really cool faction. I really want to play along with this. Also, looking at the new factions with the snakes, also that they have a lot of influence on things. I think it will be a great addition to the game as well. So please let us know what you think. And we're always happy to hear what you think about the faction and other things that you would like to see highlighted. Thank you again for watching, and view the other things. If you like what you see, subscribe so you'll be the first to know when we have new videos online. See you next time. Bye bye.